Hello, everyone. So today I am doing my presentation on the Lovings. It was 1958 in Caroline County, Virginia. A black woman and a white man take a trip to Washington, D.C. to do the unthinkable at the time, which was to get married. Once married, Richard and Mildred Loving endured many issues that lasted a whole decade. However, it did not stop them from continuing to love one another and grow their family. The film Loving is based on their life and depicts an important part of history. First, it shows racial issues of that time period. Second, it shows how individuals fought for their freedom. And third, the power of their love resulted in change for everyone in the future. Mildred Jeter was 11 years old and Richard Loving was 17 when they first met. They both grew up in a small town called Central Point, located in Caroline County, Virginia. It was an integrated town where, regardless of race, everyone considered themselves family. People of all races in the county, including Richard and Mildred, enjoyed socializing at drag races. It was also considered the norm for blacks and whites to date one another. When Mildred was 18, she got pregnant by Richard and they decided to get married. In June of 1958, they took the trip to Washington, D.C. and did just that. At that time, the state of Virginia did not allow interracial marriages. On March 20th, 1924, the state of Virginia passed the Virginia Integrity Act. It not only enforced segregation, but it also prohibited interracial marriages. After saying their I do's in Washington, they returned home to Virginia. However, their happiness was short-lived. At 2 a.m. on July 11, 1958, the Lovings were woken by a police raid in their home. While still in their bed, Sheriff Garnet Jones flashed a bright light in their faces, asking Richard what he was doing in bed with that woman. Mildred replied, saying, "I'm his wife." They were both immediately arrested. Richard was in jail for 1 day, while the pregnant Mildred was there for 3. They both pleaded guilty to violating Virginia laws and were sentenced to 1 year in prison. The sentence was suspended when the couple agreed to leave the state of Virginia for 25 years. Exiled from Virginia, the couple decided to start a new life in Washington, D.C. They added 2 more children to their family. Occasionally, they would take trips back to Virginia, but separately. They both grew tired of city life and longed to be back home in the country. There was no backyard for the kids to play in, and one of their sons was hit by a car. Mildred decided to write a letter to Attorney General Robert Kennedy asking for any help in regards to Virginia laws. While waiting on a response, they decided to move back to Virginia. Richard built them a home on an acre of land that was given to him by his father, and they lived there secretly with their 3 children. In response to the letter, Mr. Kennedy directed Mildred and Richard to the American Civil Liberties Union. There, a lawyer by the name of Bernard Cohen decided to take on their case. When his request to reverse the 25-year exile was denied, he took it a step further and took their case to Virginia Supreme Court. It was also denied, but that didn't stop him. While awaiting approval, the Lovings were, however, able to live in the state of Virginia freely. Finally, in 1966, the United States Supreme Court announced that they would take the case. The Loving versus Virginia trial began on April 10, 1967, and ended July 12 that same year. It was then declared that the laws of interracial marriages were unconstitutional, and based on the 14th Amendment, the freedom to marry regardless of race should be the decision of the individual and not the state. It took 9 long years, but they finally won. They were now able to love one another freely without fear and live the rest of their lives with their children in peace. In 1975, Richard Loving died in a car accident when his car was hit by a drunk driver. In 2007, Mildred celebrated the 40th anniversary of the Loving versus Virginia ruling. She never remarried after Richard, and her children continued to live in Virginia until her death in 2008 from pneumonia. As you can see, based on their story, the Lovings sacrificed a lot for love. They were forced to leave behind all that they knew because of racial discrimination. They fought hard with the judicial system to obtain equality, and their everlasting love outweighed the hate they encountered. Their story helped to end segregation laws in America. This made it possible for individuals today to be free to marry whomever they wanted, regardless of race and even gender. This concludes my presentation. Thank you.